Hey everybody, Drew B's Apiary here. Today I am just doing one more quick check on Red Hive to check the status of the queen's laying situation since the last video. Good news / spoiler alert, she is laying. I haven't seen her yet, but I'm going to show you the frame of fresh brood and even cat brood that she's been laying. So I'll show you that real quick. I'll bundle them back up, and then like I said, I'm going to check on yellow and blue hive, remove its strip of Formic Pro that was in there. There's almost no mites dropping anymore off of those hives. That treatment's pretty much done at this point. And that's pretty much it. I'll feed them. I basically emptied all their top hive feeders. The feeders, I don't think they were taking much of the sugar syrup at this point, mainly because, not really because of the temperature at this point, but I think a lot of the syrup in there that was getting kind of old. And as I had mentioned in the previous video, I made the mistake of keeping my top hive feeders on during the Formic Pro treatment. So, note to self for you all, please read the instructions of any, treatment that you're going to be doing, because it, NOD definitely specifies in there you should not be feeding your bees with anything other than maybe an external feeder, away from the hives. That's about it, because they didn't take any of the syrup, and like I said, it was very evident of that, and a lot of that sugar water went bad. So I'm just gonna quick show you guys what I was talking about in the red hive. Let's kind of move over there real quick. Let me show you this really nice frame of brood that I just found. See that tiny little patch right there? Also a pretty good patch on this side, and a bunch of fresh eggs on that side, sporadic. So honestly, ever since I pulled the strips off of this hive, she has begun to lay again. Because again, she was not laying at all during the initial treatment. That was just about a week ago that I removed these strips, if even. And just wanted to double check, come back out here, and sure enough, everything's looking good to go. So I like to see that. Every beekeeper likes to see that. So I'm just gonna put this back in here. Once I go in here, remove the strips, check on the status of our queens for both yellow and blue. At this point, folks, it's just basically feeding as much sugar syrup as I can get into them over the next few weeks, as they definitely missed a little bit of time to load up during this Formic treatment that they're not going to get back. So time is of the essence. Came off a little aggressive. So I only have so much time to start to load up. Pretty light. This thing's loaded. This thing's very heavy with honey. That's a good sign. Top box was not. I think you may have heard me mention, maybe I didn't mention on the other one, the red hive, that thing was not loaded at all. So Just like before, even though this chemical, we're not, you know, it's basically served its purpose, still don't want to be handling it with bare hands. Interesting, there's 2 dead bees in there. I've never seen that. Alright, this cluster is looking pretty good, as expected from the strongest of the 4. Also, I'm not sure we're going to get to it in this video, but we'll see if we can take a peek inside that green one, because I did ahead of time, and they are doing very well compared to how they started just a month or 2 back. Well, maybe not started, but how they recovered a month or 2 back. Even they're just going to rebuild this wax. I like to get it off because it makes it a hassle to yank that queen excluder on and off. Which we're coming up on the point, everybody, when we're going to pull those queen excluders off going into the winter. I have them on now because I like to know where everything is. But here very shortly, probably around the time that, we'll say middle of November, well, maybe even before that, they'll be coming off once the temperatures start getting a lot cooler, because you do not want to be leaving a queen excluder on and your queen's not able to move around with the cluster. Not a good thing. So, something we got to be cognizant of. Alright, so strips are removed. Let's see if we even see her, first of all, or any sign of her. Definitely see a few other dead bees that were underneath where the formic was located. So I guess in total it's 5 bees that died from the formic. I didn't notice that on the other hive. It's not that many. I mean, Nod mentions that you will possibly have some loss during treatment. It's better than the loss you'll get from the varroa, but still interesting all the same. Still a drone in there. We're in late October right now. It's the 18th, and still a drone on one of the frames. Kind of hard to see, but it's right there on the bottom. A few more. Like I said, it'd be just nice to know what we got going on in here. Some nectar, still some unhatched brood. No fresh brood. Another drone. A lot of cat brood on this side. Let's see if I can show the camera this. You can see it. There's a lot of cat brood. It's fair to say that this was laid maybe on the front end of the treatment, but I can't say that for certain based upon the timetable of when, from the time eggs are laid to the time they hatch. Lots of nectar, bee bread in there. That's all a good sign. I'm gonna keep working. I'll let y'all know if I find my queen, and then I'll show you blue hive after that. All right, full inspection of the yellow hive over there when we started the video, and did not see my queen. Saw plenty of fresh brood, or I'm sorry, not fresh brood, cat brood. So hard to say yet if she is in there or not after that one strip treatment. So I'm going in the blue. I'm gonna check the same thing with them. Hopefully this one we find our queen, or at least some fresh eggs. But again, like I said, red hive had no eggs during the entire 2-week treatment period. So it'll be very interesting to see if this is similar or not. Top box is looking good. Very heavy. Yeah. That one's definitely packed full. In fact, I need to decide if I'm going to do anything else different with that or not. They're probably not going to drink much more, knowing how full they are. See if I can get this strip off. I basically propylized it all the way to the top. Follow up from last week, that marked queen. There she is, right there, walking around. You can see her little white dot. She's trying to hide underneath the honeycomb. There she is. So she came out to say hello. Makes me very happy to see her doing okay. Sometimes it's kind of nerve-wracking after you mark your queen and you introduce her back in, because, you know, you're worried, you know, did you injure her? Did you do something wrong? But it looks like she's got plenty of eggs in there. I mean, this hive is, so far of the 3 I've already, you know, this is the 3rd one that I've inspected now today, is easily the most packed, full of, it's hard to say necessarily bees, but resources. I mean, honey, eggs, or when I say eggs, I should say cat brood. I always do that. I always say the other way around. Not fresh eggs, cat brood. I'm not seeing any fresh eggs, but the fact that she's in there, I'm okay enough to put this hive back together for now. And the fact that I know that she's in there makes me feel a lot better too. Because right now, yellow's the mystery. Haven't seen her. I'm assuming she's there, but Only time will tell. This heavy super back on top. Alright. The lid back on for now. But yeah. That one's real good. I've got to make a decision here in a second about what I'm going to do if I want to super anymore. It's really not a good idea too this time of the year. This hive has really nothing left to do. They're set up. Like, I didn't want to go frame by frame for you all to see it, but basically, like I said, it was just all cap brood and either nectar or capped honey. So I'm just trying to figure out, this is pretty much an empty super, as is that red one's over there. So I've got to decide, do I want to feed these guys at all? Or do I want to steal a super and hand it off to give them something to do? Got to figure that out. So let me take a quick peek into the green, see how we're doing in there, and then make that decision. All right, I'm gonna do a quick peek in the green hive. One of the frames is completely empty, but there's a lot of bees in here, which is good from what I noticed earlier. Remember, this hive never went through a formic treatment. It just did the apame. The sugar roll test showed the same results as the others, so I haven't done anything different on this one. I just want to see, do we have any brood? Or has this queen also started slowing down? A lot of nectar, a little bit of capped honey. A little bit of nectar on there too. All right. The first one to go back in. Oh yeah, I'm seeing some fresh eggs actually in this one. I don't see my queen, but I'm not honestly gonna keep going unless she's on this other side. I see all those fresh eggs in there. There are a lot of them. Yep. Looks good. The fact that they don't have this totally full, no, two of my frames are kind of empty. I'm not gonna put a box on them. If I give them a box, that'll be later, just to give them something to get through the winter. Super full of honey, but this green hive hasn't been doing the best when it comes to preparing. Like I said, they had to get a lot of extra help from their sister hives, giving them a boost. And while they're in a much better spot than they were not that long ago, again, this is totally empty. That last one was basically mainly empty, so they're in no way needing more things to do than to fill up the bottom brood chamber. So, all right, I'm just gonna skip ahead, check over on this side, make sure both sides are identical, lock it up, and then figure out my feeding situation. And that should be it. All right, so at this point, everything's all locked up. Like I said, saw the blue queen, didn't see the green queen, but saw plenty of fresh eggs in there. So I'm feeling good about that. At this point, next time I come out, which will probably be in about 10 days, I'm about to head out of town, I need to just double check and make sure we do in fact have a queen in the yellow one, because I did not see her, nor did I see any fresh eggs. I'm gonna assume she's in there. Obviously we got fresh eggs in red and we've got our queen in there. So feeling pretty good. Got fresh sugar water up top. Hopefully we got, you know, another 2-3 weeks of feeding sugar water at this point till we pretty much have to be done. Once the hives start getting barely above 50, pretty much stop feeding the sugar water. That's gonna be here before we know it. And honestly, I'm feeling pretty good so far. I've got an optimistic outlook towards winter, knock on wood, and I guess we'll just have to see how things go. So like I said, folks, hope you enjoyed this quick update on the situation. Sun's setting right now, so I'm about to wrap it up and get the heck out of here. Hope y'all enjoyed it. Y'all have a great week. Thank you so much.